It's been a minute since I got on here, so I'm just going live. I was trying to do a video and I stopped the video because my story just wasn't getting out right. So just jumping on here to say, hey, I hope y'all are doing well. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were specifically, like you were protected by whoever you believe in, and the right particular people were there at that moment, on that day, at that time, just for you? Well, I was trying to explain in a video that I have been posting videos of me and my daughter. We went to Mexico, and it was in celebration of her birthday, which was August 9th. We had been on vacations before, but we've never spent our birthdays outside of the country. So this was her first time spending her birthday outside of the country. We had a great time. There were some moments where I was a little scared of some of the little animals around the resort, which made me say I would never go back, but I probably would go back. Just probably would stay further up front on the resort. Anyways, make a long story short, it's the day that we're coming back to Tampa, and I didn't want to take an early flight because they said that you had to leave the resort at like 2:15 in the morning. I wanted to leave the resort when it is daylight because I've heard horror stories in other countries of leaving early in the morning at places and then people just disappear. But this resort provided you with a shuttle. So I was like, okay, we're gonna be fine. So the gentleman is me, my daughter. Now this is a big like coach bus, but it's me, my daughter, and then he does another pickup at one of the other resorts that's on the property. He picked a couple up, so it's just like 4 of us. Anywho, takes us like 45 minutes to an hour to get to Cancun. And we get there, he drops us off. He asks us, hey, is this where you're supposed to be dropped off? Which it was gate 3, I believe. So we're like, yeah, this is where we're supposed to get dropped off at. Not thinking of anything, because the reason why I said that, I now remember, it was because it was Delta's it was Delta's terminal. That's what it was. It was Delta's terminal. So I was like, yeah, we're taking Delta. So we're inside. We get there about 3 o'clock, 3:15, and there's no employees at these different airlines. And I'm like, dang, man. I said, well, where is everybody? But we just figuring, hey, just like with Tampa, people were starting to arrive at work at about 3:30. I was like, okay, maybe the same applies here. And so we only seen one employee, and it was like 3:30, 3:35. I'm like, okay, where is everyone? So we seen another worker with like the yellow jackets that you see where it can just glow in the dark. And he walked up to us. He was like, hey, what airline are you supposed to be taking? We was like, oh, it's Delta. He said, let me see your ticket. Well, I didn't realize that it was Aeromexico. Excuse me, y'all. It was Aeromexico, which we're at the airport, but we're at the wrong terminal. He was like, oh, you're supposed to be at Terminal 4. Where at Tampa International Airport, no problem. You just go down the hallway and up an escalator, down an escalator, up an elevator, down an elevator to get to the correct terminal. But not here. At this particular place, you actually had to leave that terminal by y'all, I just finished eating. I'm so sorry. I think that's why I'm having a hard time. So we had to leave that terminal, which he said would take about 15-20 minutes. He said it would take about 10 minutes to actually drive, versus like if we tried to walk there, it's gonna take like an hour, which who's walking that late at night? Well, not night, but it was still dark. So we're walking. No, I'm sorry. He tells us, hey, I'm gonna be with you outside of the airport. You need to get a shuttle, but I want to tell you that there are scammers. He's telling us this. He said there are scammers that are watching you when you come outside. I'm like, huh? Scammers? He's like, there are going to be people that drive by who are going to ask you if you need a ride. You should not have to pay to go to the next terminal, a shuttle should be free. He said, so I'll stay out here with you to make sure that no one try to scam you. We like, okay, so it's me, my daughter, and this gentleman, and then there was a lady outside standing out there by herself, but she was also a customer looking to board a flight too, and she was also at the wrong terminal. So now it's 4 of us. So we standing there and we're like, where are the people that they're talking about? Because if you look around, you don't see no people. I see cars that's parked, but I'm thinking, it's probably people who either left their cars there and they are coming back. Like at Tampa International Airport, you got a parking garage where you can park your car, and you can pay there. You can pay for long term or short term. So I'm thinking, well, maybe that's a scenario. It wasn't a parking garage, it was just out in an open parking lot. But apparently those were the scammers. So it didn't look like anyone was in there, but all of a sudden vehicles started coming around and around and around. And we were like, is that our shuttle? Is that our shuttle? But they wasn't dropping off anyone. Neither was they picking anyone up because there was no one there. There was another co-worker that came. So now you got a male and a female co-worker. They're standing there by us, just making sure that we're okay until their shuttle come by. He was like, oh, it should be about 10-15 minutes. Well, it took them about 30 to 45 minutes to actually come get us. And so when the gentleman left, then one of the cars stopped, and there was a gentleman that got out. And the young lady, the employee who was there, she said something in Spanish to him, and he was like, oh, he just did like this. Oh, I assumed he was just like, I was just going to see if they needed a ride. And she was like, no, go. And he just really came out of the blue. But I said all of that to say, we were so grateful because it was so scary. We're in a foreign country. He said, they're going to be watching you, which people was watching us even when their cars was just sitting there. They were watching us and we didn't even know. Had he not told us, we wouldn't have known, and we probably would have gotten into a car. Maybe we could have got robbed, maybe we could have got scammed, and probably still arrived at the right terminal. However, I just feel like those 2 employees was sitting there specifically for us. They stayed and waited. The gentleman ended up coming back, joining his female co-worker, and they both stayed there until someone actually came to pick us up. And when we looked at the shuttle, we was like, oh my gosh, no wonder they stayed with us, because the shuttle for the airport, it blended in with all of the other scammers or bogus people. So it would have been so easy for us to get into the wrong vehicle. So I'm just super grateful. There's so many other scenarios. I got a video on here when, about me really having like a life or death situation with a riptide, and my friend, he was there with me, my best friend. But that was one of the moments that was really super scary for me. But this was the most recent time, and again, they may or may have not have harmed us, but the fact that someone who lives there, from their own country, to say, hey, be careful, and he kept stressing that to us, to be careful, and we'll be here with you. We really appreciate it. I was so grateful to God that they stayed with us, because knowing us, we would have actually, hey, yeah, we want to go to terminal number 4, thinking that they were the real deal. Sorry, y'all, there's a call coming in. But that's the reason why I jumped on here, just to say hello. I hope y'all all are doing well. What situation, share with me, what situation in your life that happened? I don't know if it's more recently or something that happened in the past, to where you feel like the individuals there were sent specifically for you to help save your life, to help you from any hurt, harm, or danger. And I do feel specifically that they were sent by God to be there for us. So I'm just extremely grateful. It was the scariest moment the whole time that we were there. Like, we didn't have any other situations like that. The resort was secured heavily. I mean, people had their rifles at the front of the gate. So it was a secure property. anyone couldn't just come on the property. So that part we was fine. It was just coming home, which was a little challenging. So just share with me your stories. I hope y'all have an amazing weekend, and talk to you later.